Hello everyone, Tracy here. The topic today is why being direct is loving. Although we want clarity from others, we will actually refuse to be clear with other people as long as we believe that we are responsible for other people's emotions, which we do believe. We believe that because we are blaming others still and making them responsible for ours. And so, of course, it's going to mirror back to us that we are responsible for theirs. It's like backwards. So they're responsible for ours and we're responsible for theirs, which is an impossibility because feelings come from thoughts and you can't control anyone else's thinking. So at a certain point, we realize that we are responsible only for our own emotions. Therefore, other people can't hurt us, at least emotionally. Because if I'm responsible for your emotions and you ask me my truth, I can't tell you my truth without being responsible for your emotions. So I'm going to be wishy-washy. I cannot be direct and speak with you directly and simultaneously take responsibility for your emotions and vice versa. And so I can't be direct and then I'm untrustworthy. Why would you come to me when you're asking me for my truth when I care more about your feelings? I'm caring more about my responsibility for your feelings. And if I believe in my mind that you are going to react negatively to my truth, I am not going to tell you it. So a lot of times we end up doing the things that we don't want to do because we feel responsible for other people's feelings. Let's say I get invited to go to the movies and I go, but I don't want to only because I don't want to hurt your feelings. So it's more of a pity than it is a friendship or appreciation of your inviting me. Or, Tracy, what do you think of my new shirt? And I don't like it. What am I going to say? Am I going to deny my truth for the sake of your feelings? The first thing that I have to do is take responsibility for my own emotions. That means I have to look at all my beliefs and look at the ones that are creating pain within myself and stop blaming other people for hurting my feelings. Yes, there's going to be inconsiderate people and that's the way the world is, but what does that have to do with me? Why am I affected by other people? And it can only be because I'm making them responsible for my feelings and vice versa. When I am responsible for my feelings, then I let you off the hook. You are no longer responsible, and therefore I am, for the first time, able to be direct. You know, there's also that saying of don't be brutally honest because it's rude. And so there is a way where we can speak our truth, as in, Tracy, do you like this shirt? And I don't particularly like it. I wouldn't wear it. But they aren't asking me, Tracy, do you like this shirt? Will you wear it? I'm buying it for you. They're asking me, do you like this shirt? And my response would be, I think it would look really good on you. Or they would say, Tracy, do you think this is the best shirt for the best place that we're going? Is this the most appropriate attire? And I might know their wardrobe or another shirt and say, this one would look really good for tonight. Therefore, I can honor my own integrity and speak my truth and be kind without lying. You know, there's always a better way to communicate, a better way to say a thing. And I know within myself, I've made, I don't want to say mistakes, but I've learned how to do things better. There's always a better way. There's always a better way. I never master my potential, especially when it comes to communicating. One of the things that I do now that I didn't do before, and that's take responsibility for my own feelings because I know where they come from. They come from beliefs. And I don't make other people responsible for my feelings. Therefore, I'm more apt to speak my truth. And so I'm more clear in my communication. I don't have to be wishy-washy or take responsibility for your feelings. I also know what it's like to have hurt feelings and sensitivity, so I find myself compassionate for other people that have hurt feelings and, sensitivities, but I'm not responsible. There's a big difference in being compassionate for other people in pain and being responsible. Because now, if I believe that I'm responsible, which I don't, but I used to, I now have to get you out of that because I believed I caused that. And I don't believe that anymore. So why would I have to get you out of pain? I simply hold the space, for I know what that feels like, because I used to get hurt feelings and I blamed other people for my feelings. And what a relief to know that I'm the one that's responsible, because I'm the only one that can change my mind. This is really important when it comes to our relationships with each other, especially the lover relationship. Because if somebody asks you, do you have the same attraction? Do you feel the same way? And you don't, but you don't want to hurt their feelings, you're not going to give them a clear signal. You're going to try not to hurt them. And so you could lead them on for a long period of time when you could just be honest and say, I'm sorry, I don't feel that way. If somebody invites me to, let's say, a party or an event that I really prefer not to go to, I tell them the truth. I thank them for thinking about me. Thank you for asking me and including me, but I'm going to pass. And I don't even have to justify or explain, because the reason that we find ourselves, justifying or explaining why we're saying no is because we want them to love us anyway. We want them to understand or let us off the hook from hurting them, basically. Of course, the ego, when it's angry or frustrated, it doesn't matter what you say. If somebody says, Tracy, would you like to go to the movies? And I say, let's say on a text, yes, I would love to. And their response might be, that's it? That's all you're going to say? I mean, isn't yes, I would love to as clear as communication as one could be? It's that when we hold on to so many lack beliefs, I'm not enough, I need more love, I need more attention, I have so many needs that no matter what you say, you can never fulfill that need for another, because those needs, that gap has to be closed within oneself. They can only be filled up from within the house, and you can't do that for another. So you can never love them enough or be enough or give them enough attention to compensate for that lack that's coming from inside their own consciousness. And when there's no understanding of how the mind works, how the ego works, our human psyche, it will sit buried in the unconscious, and we will never understand why we do what we do. Why are we blaming other people? You can hear till the cows come home, stop blaming other people, and you will continue to do so until you bring up from the unconscious the mechanism of why we are actually doing that. What belief or the lack of belief are we actually holding in mind that is causing us to continue to blame other people for our emotions? And this is also, the child within, because when we were younger and let's say an authority figure or a parent or a teacher said, you make me so angry, we actually believed from our innocence that we actually caused their anger. And if you can cause anger and hurt and frustration in another person, then you can also cause them joy. And so we will take credit and blame, credit and blame, credit and blame until it's undone within ourselves. And if you're anything like I was, you will try and try and try and try to make other people happy, and you will fail miserably because you are supposed to fail, because it's not your job to make other people happy. And if it were our job to make other people happy, then we would truly be responsible for that. And so the truth is, since we can't make other people happy, we're not responsible for it. And but you're not going to know until you try and try and try and try. And I suppose it's the child in us that really wants other people to be happy. So every time that somebody tries to get us to feel blame or disappointment and we fall for it, there's some belief that we're holding that we're still responsible. To know what is mine and what is yours is a process. it usually doesn't happen overnight for people, although it can. That wasn't my experience. By the time I realized that I am fully responsible for my feelings, it took many years. Other people get it quicker. Sometimes I'm just a slow learner sometimes. But it's so freeing to know that I'm not responsible for your feelings. And I no longer have to try. And I can be direct and loving and caring and compassionate in my being with you without having to take responsibility for your feelings. Because honest to God, if I could make you happy, I would. Why wouldn't I? And vice versa. And eventually it has to dawn on us that it's not our job to make each other happy. Our job is to undo the blocks from our own joy and our own happiness, and then we share that with another. And that is the true life dance of a relationship, of a friendship, of our relationship with our kids, is to bring our joy and our peace and our love into that relationship instead of expecting to get it out of the relationship. Love and joy have to flow through me, because if it comes from you, I might tap into that and feel it for a moment, but then I'm going to need it again tomorrow. Don't you appreciate me? Don't you love me? So in order for me to feel it all the time, it has to come through me. It has to be my love and appreciation that I'm feeling. And I have to be filled up within my house before it can overflow into my relationships. And a lot of us are really stubborn, which could be an asset in the perseverance category. But we will not surrender or stop trying until we're convinced that it doesn't work. And only then will we see that it's not beneficial, it doesn't work. But up until that time, we'll keep trying and trying to please other people. And so, yes, of course, we want everyone to be happy. But as we affect the collective consciousness, we have to go first. We can't expect that everybody, get empowered and be responsible except us, because then we'll just hold the whole collective responsible for our emotions. The mind in and of itself is full of assumptions and false beliefs. And me being direct with you, giving you the most clarity so that you don't go into any more assumptions than the mind already creates, is loving. And if you really want to know my truth, then you will always come to me when I speak it. If you start doubting me, or I'm being wishy-washy or not saying my truth, I'm going to appear to you as untrustworthy, and I'm going to not be integrous to myself, because I'm the one that knows that I didn't tell you the whole truth, because I cared more about your feelings because I felt responsible for them. There's also those times when you ask someone for their truth, but you're holding an expectation, so it can only go one way. And what you're really wanting to know is your truth. You want your truth to be the most powerful. And a lot of times we'll go and we'll ask other people's opinion about something, and then we'll get hurt feelings when they tell us the truth. So if you really want to know someone's truth, you'll be open to hear whatever they say. Otherwise, you already have a preconceived expectation in your head on what you want them to say, and it's because you have some type of lack belief that you're not enough, or you don't have enough love or appreciation. And you will be seeking that outside yourself. So in conclusion to this topic, we can't really be direct in our communication until we stop making other people responsible for our emotions, and until we stop being responsible for other people's emotions. Because the cause of our feelings comes from what we're holding in mind, not from other people. And if I'm not believing half of the stuff, 3/4 of the stuff, most of the stuff of what I'm holding in mind, I'm not going to believe what you're holding in mind either, unless it has to do with your preferences. And so whether I hear something on the news or any type of information that I can't verify with my own experience, I just leave open, and I can't say whether it's true or whether it's false, and therefore I don't have a position to defend or needing agreement from anyone. In my experience, it's really the best way to hold information. Unless I can prove it within myself, I don't know if it's absolutely true. It could be a probability, but absolutely knowing can only be my own experience. And therefore, all information, which is most information, isn't verifiable by me. So I can't say it's not true any more than I can say it's true. So that is basically all information that doesn't have anything to do with me. So how can I say if that's true, if that's false? And the answer is integriously, I can't say whether it's true. I can say I heard it, but I of myself do not know. I can only share with you my own experience of my truth. I can tell you apples to me taste wonderful, and onions are despicable. They make you cry. They're chemical agents, and even when you cut them, they make you cry. But I know so many people love onions, and so to them, onions are good. And it doesn't mean that onions are bad in and of themselves. That's just my truth, that I prefer maybe a pepper. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying, that other people aren't wrong because they like onions. And they are telling me their truth. So there's even truth starts to become more clear and more direct of what the mind actually says. Opinion is an opinion. Someone's perception is their perception, and I honor their truth. I can't prove that someone likes onions, and you can't prove that I don't like onions. So it's like pointless to argue. So all of this argument and this conflict leave within us when we understand and we get more clarity, and we can communicate that to others in the most loving, direct way that we know how. And anyway, so this is a direct way to say peace to you.